Restaurants are not easy.
Yeah.
You know, it's a 24/7. We actually we're closed on Sundays,
Oh, God.
and I learned from watching other restaurants. You know, I look at other ones to see who are successful, who aren't, and I try to learn from what they do. One of the restaurants, whether you love them or don't love them, that has been very successful is Chick-fil-A. You know, Chick-fil-A started off very different than what it is today. They evolved over the years. They knew what they wanted to be, and they also developed a set of core values that they were going to not budge from. One of those was they weren't going to be open on Sunday, and they're going to focus on quality and customer service. I saw that and I said, well, if they can be closed on that day, then what does that tell me? I think they have the number one AUV of any fast food restaurant out there. They're above McDonald's. If you focus on a good product, you create a good product, and you've got good customer service, and you're consistent in what you do, that people will adapt. People will adapt. They'll come to you. They'll change their life.
Yeah.
They'll change their schedules to come to you because of what you provide.
What's going on, everybody? It's Zach Tolan, a.k.a. Vanilla Rice, here with another episode of the Rich Off Food Podcast, where we interview restaurant owners, food truck owners, and real food bosses. Today, I have a special treat. Not the first owner, not the second owner, but the third owner of a restaurant that's been out here for 40 years?
50 years,
50
yeah.
years. We got Josh Thomas, the owner of the Farm Basket. What's going on, Josh?
Hey, how you doing? Good to be here today.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on. We had a good conversation so far off camera. I did not know that it was going to be you today because I was doing my research on Farm Basket. I've heard of it for years. That was going to be somebody else. So you just recently acquired Farm Basket.
Yeah, about September of last year, 2023.
September what?
I don't know. It's been a blur since then.
Gotcha.
So
It's been busy.
been busy. I can't remember the exact date, but took over last year. I mean, you say like third owner. I mean, there's been a lot of Farm Basket locations in Southern Nevada. It's got a really, really, really deep history, rich history.
Mm-hmm.
Been a lot of people involved, a lot of different owners involved.
Oh, wow.
Over the years, it started off as a family, primarily family-owned business of a composite of a lot of different families, who worked hard to establish the brand, to build it up. So many people, I don't even know all the names of people.
So you're not the third. You're probably like the 23rd.
I'm still learning all the names of people, who have been involved in Farm Basket over the year. It's one of those places that, it's the OG spot in Las Vegas of, fast food restaurants before fast food really was what it is today,
Yeah, no, that's incredible. And that's why when I, was looking at guests to get on here, Farm Basket was definitely on my list because of how OG it is.
Yeah. You talk to anybody who grew up in Vegas, and I'm one of them. I grew up in Vegas. I went to Benedictine High School, and Farm Basket's where we went to eat. And so that's where we went to eat for lunch when you could do off-campus lunch. And so that's what a lot of people in Vegas remember is going there with their friends, going there with their family, hanging out. There's a lot of nostalgia that's been built up over the years that people love.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I haven't been here in Vegas that long. I've only been here 27 years. So we necessarily didn't grow up eating Farm Basket, but I can see that it was definitely a staple, the way people talk about it, the way that it's perceived when I say Farm Basket, especially to people that have been here for 30, 40 years. They're like, oh, yeah, that's the spot. And I'm like, interesting.
People are very passionate about it. They won't hesitate to let you know.
Yeah.
That's.
Yeah, I said I'm interviewing the owner of Farm Basket. I'm like, oh, I used to go there all the time, like my mom, and other people like that. So, a lot of people on here, and let me ask you this. Have you ever opened a restaurant before, like from scratch?
Open a restaurant from scratch? I've been involved
Gotcha.
in opening restaurants from scratch, all the way from the construction and development to opening day.
And so I ask that because, a lot of restaurant owners that I've been interviewing on here is, they started this concept that was, their idea, and they built it up to, what it is. I've never had anybody that's acquired something that's already existing. So I'm interested to know how that process is. How do you even go about trying to acquire? I know you did mention that Billy, the previous owner, is your friend. So kind of walk us through what the process was like to acquire Farm Basket.
I mean, there's no magic in acquiring a restaurant. It's primarily in this case was just opportunity. The former owner, which is my good childhood friend Billy Bain, the Bain family, had purchased Farm Basket from one of the original owners, a gentleman by the name of Steve Peralt, who ran it for years and years and years. He ran the one on Charleston Jones for years and years and years, and that's who I always remember seeing behind the counter going in. He was there every day. You could tell he loved what he did. He loved the restaurant. It was one of the last ones, and my good friend Billy and his family purchased it with the intent to expand and to franchise and to move forward. And I really wasn't looking to get into restaurants.
Oh, really?
I've been involved in some form or fashion with restaurants through construction and development, partners who own restaurants and operate them, but never really, was in the trenches, owning a restaurant,
Yeah,
running one, right? I love food. I love to eat.
for sure.
So it was an opportunity that came my way from my good friend, and talked to my wife and said, well, let's do it. We know Farm Basket. We love it. It's been around here for years. It comes with,
Pretty established.
it's established. It comes with, a loyal base of clientele, and I have those good memories going there, and I just want to create the same good memories for others going forward and to keep that tradition going.
That's amazing. Yeah, so you want to keep the legacy alive. You want to keep the perception of Farm Basket, to keep it there, because when you were acquiring it and got approached, what was Billy's other option? I guess, like, was he just gonna keep it or sell it to someone else or get rid of it?
Well, we've done, I mean, like he and I are childhood friends. We grew up together. We've done a lot of things together as friends. We've done a lot of things together, as business partners. And so for me, it was just part of what we've done together, over the years in general. So I didn't really look at it like that. I look at it more like, he and I are going to move down this road together, and to continue to grow this brand, to grow this restaurant. And so that's what we did. That's where I came into the picture.
Gotcha. No, that's incredible. I know it came across your table and you weren't expecting to grab it, and this wasn't in your future, I guess, to own a restaurant. And obviously, now owning one for, has it been less than a year now?
Less than a year.
Less
Yeah.
than a year. So you didn't just walk into owning one restaurant. You walked into owning 3 restaurants.
Yeah, owning 3, and but prior to that, I'd owned and was running a wedding venue here in town that I built up, with some partners, and we got it operating very successfully. And I got a little bit more of a taste of the restaurant industry because we do a lot of catering
Correct.
through there. We weren't actually, making food or producing food,
But you're facilitating
but
with restaurant
we'd
owners.
facilitate it. So this was just seemed like a natural progression to that, in addition to the experience that I already had with previous partners and who owned restaurants.
And that's why I wanted to ask that, was because now I want to see. So that's what you did before, was own the wedding venue. But how has your life changed since acquiring Farm Basket, if any at all?
Well, restaurants are not easy.
Yeah.
It's a 24/7.
I like to say 25/8.
25/8. Yeah, we actually were closed on Sundays,
Oh, got
and
it.
we made that decision, for a couple reasons. For me, partly it was a religious reason, but I also am a firm believer. I learned from watching other restaurants. I look at other ones to see who are successful, who aren't, and I try to learn from what they do. And one of the restaurants, whether you love them or don't love them, that has been very successful is Chick-fil-A.
Oh yeah.
And, Chick-fil-A started off very different, than what it is today. Um, and I believe they used to sell bone-in chicken. They don't sell that now. They focus
Really?
primarily on sandwiches. But they evolved over the years. They knew what they wanted to be. And they also developed a set of core values that they were going to not budge from. And one of those was they weren't going to be open on Sunday, and they're going to focus on quality and customer service. I may be paraphrasing that to some extent, but I saw that and I said, well, if they can be closed on that day, then what does that tell me? And they're the number one.
Yeah.
I think they have the number one AUV of any fast food restaurant out there. They're above McDonald's, and by I think significantly. Even though they don't have as many locations, they have a higher AUV. So what that told me was that if you focus on a good product, you create a good product, and you've got good customer service, and you're consistent in what you do, that people will adapt. People will adapt. They'll come to you. They'll change their life.
Yeah.
They'll change their schedules to come to you because of what you provide. So that's what we're always trying to achieve at Farm Basket. We're always trying to hit those marks, and we don't always hit that, right? It's not easy to master those things or to be consistent on those
And
things.
instill that into the employees as well.
Yeah, instill that in the employees, instill the culture, and that's the fight we have every day is to get there, and that's what we're trying to do, because not just because that's what we believe is right, because our customers, our customers are not like any other customers in Vegas. You own another restaurant, good for you. You own Farm Basket, you own 50 years of customers.
Wow.
And so
powerful.
they like, and it's not just a restaurant that that's where I like to go eat. No, that's where I've spent time with my family growing up. That's where I hung out with my friends. It brings all of that history and nostalgia. So when they go to Farm Basket, a lot of them are going there because they want to relive that. And so they want the food to reflect that. They want to remember, like when they taste the food, they say, I think your sense of smell is one of the most powerful senses for memory. It triggers memories. When they taste the food, they want to remember all those good times. So if we don't hit the mark on that, oh my goodness, they're going to let you know
Real fast.
It's not like some other restaurant where they don't like it and they're never going to let you know and they're going to go somewhere else. They will let you know, and so you have a responsibility to always be trying to do your best for them.
Wow, that is incredible. That's thinking like a corporation, right? I think, because just the mom and pop shops, what I've seen is, we kind of just open, we just serve food, yeah, customer service, it's got to be there and everything. But when you instill values, you instill these kind of principles, and then, like you said, it's the experience they're coming back for, and they'll let you know.
They'll let you know. They're not afraid.
That's incredible, man.
They will tell you. So I've spent a lot of nights like rethinking things. How can I make this better? What can I do?
Is that like nerve-wracking taking on, this type of responsibility? Because the way you explained it was so different than what I was thinking, and maybe the viewer watching is like, oh, he just bought a restaurant.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's different. I knew going into it that it would be like this, because
That's good that you knew that ahead of time.
Because I'm not what I want people listening to this to understand is like, I'm not a guy who owns a restaurant. I'm a guy who grew up eating Farm Basket. Like I have those same memories that you had growing up. I went there and hung out with my friends. I took my family there. So I am one of those people. Who have those same expectations. And so I'm trying every day to instill that into my employees, trying to meet that expectation because I'm one of those people.
Yeah, and you know firsthand how it feels. and
Absolutely.
firsthand how you want them to feel. That makes it a little bit more simpler. Not to maybe explain it to your employees. Well, I guess yeah, it makes it simpler to explain it because you're not thinking for someone else. You're thinking
Yeah.
how for yourself.
I was thinking about remodeling the Charleston store, and I was like, this guy came in one day, and he's like, "Do you see that bench back there?" It's like, "Yeah." He's like, "That's where I proposed to my wife 25
Oh
years
my
ago."
gosh, you can't even touch that.
So I was
bench,
like,
bro.
I can't even touch anything in there.
And is the bench
now.
like I haven't been inside that location, but is the bench like a little run down a little bit or
Yeah, that
it
store
could use
needs
some
it needs some
TLC?
TLC for sure. It needs a refresh, and so like I had all these plans, and now I was like, oh my goodness,
Now you're backpedaling
I'm
on.
rethinking everything now. I got to rethink how to like make it look good, and you want to make you're trying so hard to adapt and be creative and be innovative, but you want to be true
Yeah.
to what you've been over the years, and you want to make people happy. You want to keep them happy.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely am trying to do the same exact thing when it comes to my restaurant. Is trying to build the core values, build the customer experience, and have people come back due to the experience, not just the food. Like you said, I'm in a customer experience business.
That's right.
Especially if they've proposed there. I mean, that's a different type of feeling. That's something you'll never forget. I love that. So let's pivot a little bit, right? This is like the first time you've operated a restaurant, correct?
Like actually be down in the trenches
Yeah.
operating for sure. I've been around restaurants for a long time.
Gotcha. So you've seen what goes down. You've seen owners operate.
Yeah, I've been I've been on the other side of a lot of restaurants where whether I'm I have a real estate and construction background.
Gotcha.
So developing a lot of restaurants, underwriting people who are going to open
Mm.
up restaurants, looking at the business side of things, looking at the concept side of things, reviewing business plans, seeing if I think they're going to be successful, not successful. There's only so much insight you can get until you're actually in the restaurant working,
Yeah,
see how it goes. So
I
one of the
agree.
first things that I did when I took over Farm Basket was I'm going to work every position in
Mm.
there, and I'm going to see how I want to know for myself how every single position works. I don't care how small or how big it is, because I need to be able to see through that employee's eyes what they're doing. That's how I'm going to see, how to make things better, or if
Correct.
it's working or if it's not working.
If there's too much of a load on one employee,
Yeah, exactly. Because it's easy for me as an owner to
just be
say,
like, "No, you're good."
like, hey, why didn't you do this, and why is this having problems? Why is it having issues? And then they try to explain it to you, and you just brush it off like, no, go back. And like once I've done it myself and I've seen, oh, now I understand what they're talking about, or no, that person really needs to do this. So I want to know exactly everything works. I want to do everything that everybody does in there, because I think from an ownership standpoint, that's how I'm going to learn what I can do to make things better
Yeah.
in there.
Hey, you guys hear that? You got to do every single position in the restaurant, and I agree with you. I worked at a warehouse when I had my restaurant job as well, and the manager, he was making like six figures, and he told me, "Hey man, go on a break." Okay, cool. He's like, "I'll cover your position for you." Sounds good. He comes back. My position was all messed up. All the boxes were everywhere, this and that. And I'm like, wow, the guy telling me what to do can't even do my job. And then it just made me lose respect for him. Now when he kind of tells me something, like, yeah, whatever, right? And I think that it builds respect for you, trust as well. And then you're also the guy that employees can come to for an answer.
Yeah.
Because you've done everything. You've been in every kind of situation. And I think a lot of restaurant owners, and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, need to look at it that way.
If you like, what I would say to people who own a restaurant, doing what I did and quite honestly, it's not anything new. Most restaurant owners are doing everything anyways. Most restaurant owners own, they own their job. That's what they do. They don't own a restaurant. They own their job. They have to do a lot of those things because it just has to be done. And when somebody else fails to do something in the restaurant, it's it doesn't stop past me. Like I have to get in there and get it done.
Yep.
So I need to know how to do everything. But the one thing I go back to saying what any restaurant owner should know is that it's going to make you better at what you do, because once you see it through somebody else's eyes, you start to learn, oh, I could do this and make this better, and overall it's going to make your restaurant better. I mean, I just the other day, you talk about, I was in the trash enclosure mucking out probably 50 years worth of grease that had been spilled on the ground.
Wow.
Yeah,
I've been there.
So that nobody had ever done. So I want my employees to know that nothing is beyond me in there. When I come in and I say, do it this way or don't do it this way, or this is how we should do it, it's because I've been there and I've looked at it. At the same token, they can come to me and say, I think we should do it this way. I think we should do it that way. And I go, hey, you know what? You're right, because I've been doing what you've been doing before, and what you said makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So I know that it's going to benefit the restaurant. Everything is about making the restaurant operate at peak, at its peak efficiency, peak effectiveness, peak quality, all of those things. So to me, that's the secret to success is down and dirty hard work.
Down and dirty hard work. I like that. I agree, man. Like I said, everything you're saying hits the nail on the head for me, because that's how I like to operate as well. I like to see my employees to, if they come, I always say, like, this is the way we do it. If you have, an idea, I'll listen to it, and I will definitely take into consideration. If it's better, we'll implement it. If not, we'll just stick with what we're doing, because that's what I've learned that's worked best for peak performance.
Absolutely.
So my next question is going to be, like, when you got this restaurant, they had a previous owner, the employees. Did they look at you some type of way? Was that some type of adjustment for you as well? With a owner to employee relationship?
We've had some employees that have been with Farm Basket for 27, 28 plus years, which is unheard of
for sure.
in fast food industry.
Any restaurants being open that long is unheard of anyway.
Yeah, it's just you don't get that. And I think workers today are different than workers 20, 30 years ago. I think restaurants today are different than they were 20, 30 years ago. So you always have to evolve and change with the times, but you don't want to change what's successful. And so that's always the challenge, is to be flexible, yet stick with what works.
Yeah, I agree. Don't fix what's not broken, but at the same time, be willing to adapt and, get with today's times.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because like you said, I mean, I can imagine technology in the restaurant is completely different from 40 years ago. POS systems are completely different. It's so funny because I can't even wrap my head around 20, 30 years ago. I was still a baby.
That's funny. You got people 20, 30 years ago didn't wear gloves when they're preparing food, right? You never saw that, where people wearing masks, wearing gloves, but that's what we do now. So, we're more hygienic, I guess, now. There's more technology, like you said, involved in the POS systems. We've got third-party delivery. We've got
people. Never had that before.
Yeah,
you got drivers, right?
Yeah, I mean, you've got tons of takeout business today. Like, takeout was never a big thing until, I think it's probably grown bigger after the pandemic than it was before. And so now a lot of people just want to come get their food and take it home. So they expect things like
it's to be done right when it gets there.
So or you're timing things. You got to start timing things a lot more. So there's a lot of things that procedurally that you adapt with. I mean, fried chicken, you still cook fried chicken the way fried chicken should be cooked.
Correct.
Nothing's changed on that. But people come in who are new and who don't know, and you have to teach them and train them. That's why I'm so grateful we have some of our cooks have been with us so long. It's like they could go to sleep and still be making the chicken exactly how it should be. So it's there's something to be said for that. It's a skill.
Well, I saw you guys have that new pressure fryer thing.
Yeah, that
definitely wasn't there 40 years ago.
They've always had pressure fryers
Gotcha.
there. maybe different versions of pressure fryers, but pressure fryers all started out, I think, back with KFC with the Colonel, and I think he was one of the first ones to really, I guess, to bring that technology, to the forefront. Because when he started, they were cooking, fried chicken in an open fryer, which a lot of places still do. Popeye still does that. A lot of places still do that. Nothing wrong with it. It takes longer to do it. And really what the pressure fryer did was reduce the time and arguably increase or maintain the moisture content in the chicken. So that's how he was able to take it and move it to a fast food model, was to cut time off of there. Because that's the challenge. A lot of people don't understand what fried chicken is. First thing you understand with fried chicken is not easy. It's not like cooking a burger where someone places an order, slap a patty on the grill, couple minutes, you're done, right? Or you're making a sandwich. Someone orders a sandwich, you go grab a few pieces of meat, throw on the sandwich cheese, slap it out. Fried chicken takes anywhere, depending on what you're cooking, takes anywhere from 4.5 minutes to 20 minutes. Well, people, when they order their food, they want it in 2 to 4 minutes. So,
how do you deal with that kind of stuff?
Same thing that every other fried chicken, like KFC and other places, have been doing it, is where you have to cook ahead. You have to be able to know the future, predict the future.
Wow.
Which is not, as you know, in the restaurant industry, is not easy,
At all.
you don't know.
You have no clue.
You have no clue when they're going to come
You can
in.
assume
You
based
can
off forecasting your numbers. But,
yeah, you can look at last week's numbers, but
and do you run into a lot of waste because of that?
we, like most restaurants, we try to reuse what we have in other product, and that's what we do, and it turns out really good. It turns out really well. But we also try to monitor our usage, try to control our usage.
Depending on the time of the day as well.
Yeah, because I mean, with fried chicken, as you know, like once it comes out of the fryer, it has a limit to how long. It has a shelf life. And so a lot of restaurants will use either specialized warmers or heat lamps to hold their chicken. But you're not going to get a long time out of
get
that.
sold pretty fast.
Yeah, so that's the trick in this business, and it's the same and I don't care who you go to. Go to Chick-fil-A, go to Raising Cane's, go to Dave's Hot Chicken, go to KFC, go to Popeyes. They all will hold the chicken for a certain amount of time. Sometimes they get very good at just pumping it through. But
if it's busy that day, though.
If it's busy, and when it's busy, it's great because you're just rotating.
Correct.
You're just rotating
Nothing's
through.
getting held. I mean, for a few seconds maybe.
Yeah, but every place, to some extent, holds their chicken. It's just how long are you holding it and how well are you maintaining it. And so that's what we're always working on. We always want to keep, obviously,
as fresh as possible.
As fresh as possible. When I go to some place, I'm like everybody else now. I want my chicken hot and steaming and sizzling, coming right out.
Yeah.
And with fried chicken, that's just not the reality. But you can come in and say, that's how I want it. And I'll say, I'll be more than happy to do that for you. Are you willing to wait 15 minutes and it's going to come fresh out? And most people, surprisingly, are like, yep, I'll wait for that because I want that thing sizzling, coming right out.
That's incredible.
And for those people, we do that for. And for the others who say, no, I want it in 2 to 4 minutes, well, I've got something for you.
We got everything for you.
I've got that for you. I've got that for you too. So
that's incredible.
So, but it's an interesting. Fried chicken it's one of the hardest things that I've ever done in my life because it truly is an art. To make it the best as possible.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's like you said, to make it the best as possible, to make it consistent, to make your guests happy because, you are a semi-fast food model. And, I can imagine you tell a customer 20 minutes at a fast food restaurant. Like, what you mean? Pull up to the front, wait in there. We'll bring it out to your car.
It's always funny. They're like, well, I want it fresh. It'll take 15 minutes. They get upset. I go, well, I've got something that's been in there for 15 minutes. And they go, okay, I'll get it fresh.
Fine. Yeah.
When in reality, the one that's been in there for 15 minutes is fine. I mean, there's high-end restaurants in New York who focus just on fried chicken. And you go in there and pay $50, $100 for your fried chicken. and they're doing nothing different than what we do.
Mm.
They, when they get those rushes in, they know that they can't have those guys sitting there waiting.
Frying to order.
Yeah, so you have high-end restaurants who will par fry their chicken and then finish it off when the client
Yep.
comes in.
They do the same thing with steaks.
They do the steaks. Koreans double fry their chicken. They do all those things, and you get actually a pretty fantastic product with that. We haven't been double frying our chicken. Now I'm getting like into the weeds of how you make. I don't know if anybody even cares.
Yeah, no. We like this.
To hear about this stuff.
It's rich off food, man. This
But
is what we do.
but we don't double fry our chicken, but we do from time to time when people request it, because it is something. Even the most high end restaurants in the industry do that way, and it's just a common way of doing things. In fact, you go to the South, that's the only way a lot of those places will cook their chicken, is they'll cook it once, and then they'll fry it again real quickly, because you get a really flash fry because you get a really good crisp on the chicken, and it makes it hot and juicy coming out. So I'm always looking at different ways, different techniques to improve, to provide, to try to marry the best product in the world with, hey, I want it now. Right? That's the hardest thing to try to marry.
That's the magical
up, right?
equation everyone's trying to figure out.
Exactly.
Because I'm the same way. We cook everything to order. And so, and when I say I'm the same way, I mean, like, I have 20-minute waits, right? And I tell customers that I don't have anything that's ready in 5 minutes. And surprisingly, I just, they wait. They're like, we got it. And it's funny because I've told my employees, I'm like, we don't ever tell a customer no, like, we can't make your food. We tell them it's just going to be a longer wait time.
Yeah.
I go, because, we're super backed up and it's an hour and a half wait. We're not going to say, hey, no, we can't make your food. It's an hour and a half wait. No, we're just going to say, yeah, we can make your food, but it's going to be an hour and a half. Sometimes
and it's going to be good.
And it's going to be hot, fresh.
It's going to be so good.
You're going to appreciate it. But then it's also the expectation too, like when people come to my restaurant, it is takeout. So they expect it a little faster than, a sit down hibachi restaurant, but I only have 2 grills. So they got to understand, but I also put that out there. Like you said, your model is, faster model. So people understand that it's going to come out fast. You get those 1 or 2 that are like, oh, what you mean? 20 minutes, right?
Yeah.
If I want it more fried. It's like, well, I think what it is though is that we need to give the customer some restaurant knowledge and let them understand and be more communicative on that. We're cooking everything fresh. We're doing our best. I always say it's not fast food. It's fresh food as fast as possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know if you can agree with that, but
yeah, that's what it'd be nice to educate everybody in the world on how it works. It's not the reality. And a lot of people just don't care. They're like,
yeah, I just want my food.
I don't care
What's your excuses?
And hey, that's fine. There's a place for that. You can go to Del Taco, and you can go to Taco Bell, and you can go to places where it's all
you order and it's ready right by the time you pay at the window.
It's been cooked and pre-warmed and sitting in there, and there's types, as there's types of food that work well for that.
For sure.
That are you can do that with all day long. Fried chicken is not one of those foods. Mm-mm. It's not one of those foods that you can that's going to hold forever. It has a lifespan, and we're always trying to improve on delivering it within that lifespan so people get the best thing as possible.
That's incredible, man. Always trying to be innovative, always trying to think of the guest first as well, the experience. Man, you're killing it, bro. I'm excited for what you've got coming. If you can elaborate real quick on what the future looks like for you and Farm Basket, we'd love to know.
Well, we're trying to grow as much as possible. Right now we're looking at fine tuning everything that we do. Try to put together a restaurant model, a business model that you can take and take across state lines, take across the country.
Oh, you're thinking big
and be successful.
Yeah,
and so
I love it.
In the phase that we're at right now, we're really trying to refine to make things the best as possible. We're trying to be innovative, try new things. Farm Basket carries with it a lot of nostalgia.
Oh yeah.
And what a lot of people don't realize or don't remember is that Farm Basket started as a pioneer. They were doing things that nobody else was doing. And I want to carry that on as well. Like I'm going to try putting some things on the menu that are new, that are different.
Okay.
Because I'm an innovator. I want to keep innovating. That's the Farm Basket true tradition. Not I want the same thing that I've eaten year over year over year. We still have that on the menu.
Yeah.
You come to any one of our Farm Baskets, you're going to get the same thing that you ate for the last 50 years. Now, there's some things that Farm Basket had over the years that we don't have on the menu anymore because they were always trying new things. They were always trying new things, innovating new things. So over the years, people got different things to eat over the years. And
well, I know. I mean, McDonald's does the same thing. Burger King does the same thing. You know, they bring something out. You know, and some people are pissed off that it's gone, but they took it off for a reason. You know, it wasn't working.
yeah, either it works or it doesn't work. And we'll continue to revisit those things. We'll continue to try new things till we find the thing that works for the majority of people. Because as a restaurant, you know, you can't make everybody happy. And you definitely can't make everybody happy all the time. And you can't make just a few people happy. You're trying to make as many people as possible happy that works within the confines of the restaurant being successful. You know, at the end of the day, I need to be able to have a product that the majority of the people want to eat, not just one or two people or three people, right? And that's what you see what's on the menu today. You see the things on the menu that the majority of people collectively have wanted again and again and again over the years. Now, you as an individual or me say, well, I really want that one thing that you had there. And it's really easy to think that way because when you think of just you think, well, if I like it, everybody must love it,
for
right?
sure.
If I like it, everybody loves it. Why isn't it on there, right?
Yeah. But if you put that one item on the menu that one person liked that many times, you have like 100 different menu items.
Yeah, you'd have thousands of things on the menu, and you know how tricky
that one thing that one guy always orders. Let's put it on the menu.
Exactly. So we throw things on the menu and we see how it goes. We see if it works or if it doesn't work, and we refine it and go from there. And I'd love to put everything that everybody loved on the menu.
It's not possible.
I'd love that. It would be like
you would finally make everyone happy.
We'd spend all our day prepping food and never doing anything
for one
else.
Dish.
Yeah, for one dish. But no, it's you're trying to make as many people happy as possible within the confines and the constructs to be a successful restaurant.
Wow, that's incredible. That's powerful. That's so true. Everybody tries to, you don't want to make everybody happy. You want to make as many people happy as possible.
Yeah, you're never like, one thing I learned in life is like, if you think you can make everybody happy, you're just lying to yourself. At some point in your life, you just have to accept that somebody's going to hate you.
Oh, yeah.
Not everybody's going to be happy with you.
Well, when I first started, the Yelp reviews, the bad ones, they used to keep me up at night, bro. I wouldn't be able to sleep.
Yeah,
now I sleep like a baby.
Yeah,
I realize that.
Yeah, it's just you just never. Not that you ignore those things because I think there's some good constructive.
I think there's always some truth in them for sure.
There's always some truth, but what's social media and other things have turned into, and I'm not a big social media guy. I don't have a big social media footprint. But what I have noticed, people see like, oh, there's kids are so depressed today and people are so depressed. Well, social media is an outlet for a lot of things. There's nothing good or bad about social media. It's just a conduit. But what it's done is it's taken like, negativity for and positivity for those things,
Put it on
and
a
it's
platform.
it's concentrated it. You're getting concentrated doses. Think about it. 20 years ago, you may hear, with TV and radio and stuff, you may hear 20 negative things a day, right? Before TV and radio, you may hear one or two negative things a day. Now with social media,
all day,
you hear hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of. You can see hundreds of negative things. Now tell me, does that not mess with your brain?
Oh yeah.
Does that not mess with you?
Yeah.
And so you wonder why kids are depressed and adults are depressed and things like that. At the same token, you can flip the script and be positive, and people seeing hundreds and hundreds of positive things. Now that's not what I see on social media. I see more negative than positive. So to everybody out there who, you have a responsibility with social media and things that you post, whether you think you do or you don't. Be responsible about what you post. You can do things that are constructive, that express your negative opinion, but you can do it in a way that lifts, that uplifts, that's constructive. And if you don't do it that way, if you do it in a way that's hurtful, you are contributing to somebody else's mental state. You could be the difference maker in whether that person becomes depressed or whether that person is happy. Now we're going way off on restaurants and things.
Yeah.
But I know you relate to what I'm saying.
I get it for sure.
Because you've seen it.
Because when I first started, like I said, I would get 10 good comments and I would get that one bad comment, and then I wasn't even focused on the 10 good comments. I'm not sleeping at night because of the one person that said my chicken was dry. And I'm like, it bothers you. So, and even when it gets deeper than that, like what you're saying is, we always want to make everybody happy as humans, right? And so
especially in the restaurant industry.
Especially in the restaurant industry. So now you're focused on all the negative things. I heard something where it's like, yes, we always want to, tweak and listen to everybody's opinion. But if you're doing 10 things right and one thing wrong, put more energy into the 10 things that you're doing right.
Yeah. You got to stay in this business. You got to stay positive.
Yep.
You've got to, food is a powerful thing, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing that $10 or $15 that somebody spends. It's amazing, like what that does to a person's emotional state, right? You forget to put something in the bag or whatever, and you thought you would have like robbed their house. You thought that you would have,
the way that they
you thought that you would have stole their car.
Yep.
They
put a sauce in my bag.
They're like they're coming.
That's a great
out.
way to put it. Yeah.
They're ready to pull out the guns and call the police and everything.
We see that on social media too. Someone forgot their shootout in the drive-through because someone forgot their pancakes or something
or whatever.
Yeah.
But at the same token, you hit the target. And it's like, it makes them
so happy.
It's like it changes their life. It's like life changing for them. And so it's something that's so ironic to me that something so small can have such a great impact on people. And when you do have that positive impact, it makes you feel good too, because no restaurant owner is out there going, I want to put out a bad product and make people upset,
Yeah, I agree.
Some don't know that they're putting out a bad product. But you're always trying to do the best you can do. Because you want to make people happy. You know that when people come in, when I go to eat, I just tell from my viewpoint, because I was on the other side.
Oh, yeah.
I was the guy not owning a restaurant. I was Joe Schmo customer. When I came into the restaurant, I was like, I'm coming in because I'm hungry. That's the time of my day where I can like enjoy something and just take a break for a second and just really have, something good to eat and be happy. Food makes people happy, right? Mm-hmm. And when it fails to do that, yeah, you can,
as a consumer, you don't care what's going on.
Consumer, you don't care. You're like, my day.
You don't care how busy they are. You just want your food and you want it right.
You're like, my day is ruined, and I was like, and I spent $10 and
wish I could get my money in my time bag.
Some people like could drop $10 and not even know it. Anyway, so I completely understand that. But when you put in perspective, you can step back and say, hey, wait a second, like, especially when you've been on the other side.
Correct.
And everything, that, hey, we started this process making this chicken, not today, but yesterday. We took it out and chicken came in fresh and we're marinating it and we're trying to, and every step is so critical and important, and all the, all the hundreds of things that go into that one little order that you're working so hard to make that person happy. When it misses as an owner, you feel terrible about it. And we always tell people like, hey, I wish I should post this up on my restaurant. You know, that look, if we miss on something, I want you to not worry about anything because we will always make it right. We will always make it right. I have people that come in and
They assume that you're not going to make it right.
that's what they think
Yeah.
that they think that like
You intentionally.
or beyond just the annoyance, you know, like because it is annoying when something isn't right. Beyond the annoyance of it, I let people know, hey, I want you to just relax. I want to make everything right. You come in, I'll remake your meal for you. And I'll show you what it should be like. I want them to know, everybody to know that to reassure them that we're here to make them happy, and whatever it takes to make them happy, that's what we're trying
I
to
think
do.
I want to put that up in my restaurant too. We're here to make you happy.
Yeah, don't.
That's a great line.
I always you know what the first song I have on my playlist
What
at
is
the
it?
restaurant
What is it?
is Bob Marley. You know,
Yeah.
the Tubers, everything's gonna be all right.
Everything.
I always play that because I just want people to know that, hey, just relax, man. Everything's going to be okay. We're going to take care of you. It's all good. Like, I'm the owner. I'm in the store. I live here. I live in Las Vegas. I grew up here. You just let me know. I'll make it right for you. And then the ones who we do hit the target on and we do well for, I'm so happy when they give a good review and say things are good. You know, I can take a good review and be happy with it, but I can take a negative review and turn that person into a customer for life.
Yeah.
Because I'll let them know. Let me know what I can do. I want to make that right for you. And that person will come back 5-10 more times.
Yep. Exactly. Just especially because that gesture you did for them.
Yeah.
I'll always remember that, and that's the experience. And so, you know, I don't want to take too much of your time. This has been incredible with your, you know, the mindset that you have, the values that you strive to have every single day, and you instill into your employees. I see nothing but amazing things for Farm Basket on years to come, another 50 years. Right, that's the goal.
Another 50. I may not be here, but somebody else will.
Yeah, right. And so I just want to ask one more question. And this is the Rich Off Food podcast. So I always ask every guest, what does rich off food mean to you?
Rich off food? Boy, man, you could go like the real simple answer. You go, oh, I'm making money off food. But
Yeah.
that's not like, it's about the life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you want to have a life that's rich in quality.
Yeah.
You know, a life that's rich in experience. You want to have a life that's rich with friends and family.
Mm-hmm.
You know, rich with good flavor.
Oh, I love it.
You know, those.
Yeah.
It's like that. That's a great name that you guys have decided to go with because it really like extends into so many different areas of good.
Yeah.
You know, that where you
Yeah.
want to be.
I've heard so many different answers about the question, and none of them have been monetary. So
No,
I
it's
love
that's the easy answer.
yep, yeah, exactly. That's what we're expecting you to say, man.
That's the easy answer. No, you want a rich life is friends, family, good food,
Incredible.
good life. You know,
I love it, Josh. Well, I appreciate you. If there's anything else you want to let the audience know, where to find you on social media, where to find your restaurants at, if there's anything else you would like to add, now's your time.
yeah, if you don't know,
This is Josh's first podcast, by the way.
First podcast.
He's doing great.
Yeah, one of
One of
who
many.
knows, one of many. Hey, if you don't know about Farm Basket, go and ask somebody because they're gonna know, and come down and try us out. If you've been a long-time customer, we look forward to seeing you again. And we're doing our best. We always want to make things better, make you happy, and we'll always do that. We're always there. And if you're not happy, I'm gonna make you happy. So come.
We're here to make you happy.
We're here to
New Farm Basket slogan.
We'll always take care of you.
I love it. Well,
everything's gonna be all right.
Well, thank you so much, Josh. I really appreciate you. This is the Rich Off Food Podcast. Make sure to follow Farm Basket, see what they got going on. Make sure to like, subscribe, do all that stuff you do on YouTube. I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.